Sam Harrison woke up in a room made of crystal. The walls glowed with a soft blue light. He did not know where he was. He did not know how long he had been sleeping. The last thing he remembered was his ship. The alarms. The bright light that filled the cockpit before everything went dark. He sat up slowly. His head hurt. His body felt heavy and strange. He looked around the room and saw that it was small. There was a bed made of something soft and warm. There was a small table with a cup of water. There was nothing else. Sam walked to the wall and touched it. It was smooth and cool. He could see through it, but only a little. On the other side, there were shapes moving. Tall shapes. Very tall shapes. He stepped back and tried to stay calm. He was a captain in the Earth Space Fleet. He had trained for situations like this. He had learned how to survive, how to think, how to wait, but nothing had prepared him for what walked through the door. The creature was 9 feet tall. Its body was covered in scales that changed color as it moved, blue to green to purple to silver. It had 4 eyes, all of them looking at Sam. It had 4 arms, 2 large and 2 small. It moved like water, smooth and silent. Sam did not run. There was nowhere to run. He stood still and looked at the creature. The creature looked back at him. It made a sound. A series of clicks and whistles that meant nothing to Sam. Then it reached out with one of its smaller arms and touched his forehead. Pain, sharp and burning. Sam fell to his knees and grabbed his head. The pain lasted for a long time. Then it stopped. When Sam opened his eyes, the creature was gone. But something had changed. There was a small device attached to his temple. He could feel it there, warm against his skin. Days passed. Sam counted them by the way the light in his crystal room changed from blue to dark and back to blue again. Each day, the tall creatures came to look at him. They studied him through the walls. They watched him eat and sleep and walk around his small space. Sam started to understand them. The device on his head was doing something to his brain. At first, he only caught small pieces. A word here, a feeling there. But slowly, day by day, the pieces grew bigger. He began to understand their clicks and whistles. He began to see meaning in the colors of their scales. On the 20th day, a different creature came to see him. This one was bigger than the others. Its scales were darker, a deep purple that was almost black. It wore something around its neck that looked like jewelry. And when it looked at Sam, he felt the weight of 1,000 years in its eyes. This was their leader. Their queen. She spoke to him, and for the first time, Sam understood. "You are the human," she said. "You are the one who lived." Sam stood tall and faced her. He was afraid, but he did not show it. "Yes," he said. "I am human. My name is Sam Harrison. Captain Sam Harrison." The queen watched him for a long moment. Her scales shifted to a lighter shade of purple. Sam did not know what that meant yet. "We are the HFY," she said. "I am Queen Sirvana. You are on my ship. You have been here for 20 rotations." Sam nodded. He had guessed as much. "Where's my crew?" he asked. "My ship had 7 people on it." The queen did not answer right away. Her scales flickered through several colors. Sam would later learn that this meant she was thinking about how to say something difficult. "They did not survive," she said finally. "Their bodies were too weak. Humans are fragile creatures. We did not expect any of you to live. But you did." Sam felt the words hit him like a punch to the chest. His crew, his friends, Lisa and Tom and all the others, gone. Dead on an alien ship, far from home, far from everything they knew. He wanted to scream. He wanted to fight. But he was alone on a ship full of creatures who could kill him with a thought. So he pushed the pain down deep and locked it away. He would mourn later. Right now, he needed to survive. Why am I here? Sam asked. What do you want from me? The queen moved closer. She was so tall that Sam had to look up to meet her eyes. Those 4 violet eyes that had seen more than he could imagine. My people are dying, she said. A sickness came to us long ago. It killed all of our males. Every single one. For 3 generations, we have survived only by making copies of ourselves. But each copy is weaker than the one before. Soon, there will be nothing left to copy. Soon, my people will be gone. Sam listened. He did not understand everything, but he understood enough. These creatures were facing the end of their species. They were desperate. We have searched the galaxy for help, the queen continued. We have found many species. We have tested them all. None of them worked. Their bodies were too different from ours. But humans are different. Your bodies are similar to ours in ways we did not expect. You could be the answer we have been looking for. Sam felt cold. He understood now why he was alive. He understood why his crew had died. The Vethkai had been testing them, examining them, looking for something they could use. You want my body, Sam said. You want to use me to save your people. The queen nodded slowly. Yes, we need what is inside you. The building blocks of life. If you give them to us freely, we can find a way to use them. We can save our species. And when we are done, we will let you go. We will send you home. And if I refuse? Sam asked. The queen's scales turned a cold, dark blue. Then we will take what we need. It will hurt. You may not survive. But we will get what we need either way. Sam looked at the queen. He looked at the crystal walls around him. He thought about Earth, so far away. He thought about his sister Katie, who was probably crying right now, thinking he was dead. He thought about what it meant to be human. Humans never gave up. Even when everything was lost, even when there was no hope, humans kept fighting. They kept looking for a way. That was what made them human. Give me time to think, Sam said. One day. Give me one day, and I will give you my answer. The queen studied him for a long moment. Then her scales shifted to a softer color. Something like respect. 1 rotation, she said. Then I will return for your answer. She turned and walked out of the room. The door closed behind her. Sam was alone again. He sat down on his bed and put his head in his hands. He had one day to decide his future. One day to figure out how to survive. One day to find a way to turn this disaster into something else. He closed his eyes and began to think. Sam did not sleep that night. He sat on his bed and watched the stars through the crystal ceiling of his room. Somewhere out there, past all those lights, Earth was spinning. His home, his people, everything he had ever known. He thought about his life. He thought about his parents, who had died when he was young. He thought about his sister Katie, who had raised him when there was no one else. He thought about all the years he had spent training to be a pilot, then a captain. All the dreams he had about exploring the stars. He never thought the stars would be like this. When the light in his room changed from dark to blue, Sam knew his time was up. He stood and waited by the door. A few minutes later, Queen Sirvana walked in. She looked at him with her 4 violet eyes. Her scales were a calm gray color. She was waiting for his answer. Sam took a deep breath. I will help you, he said. But I have conditions. The queen's scales flickered. She had not expected this. Conditions? Sam nodded. I am not your prisoner. I am not your test animal. If you want my help, you will treat me like a partner. You will answer my questions about your people. You will teach me about your culture and your history. And when this is over, you will send me home with a full record of everything that was done. The queen was silent for a long time. Her scales moved through many colors. Sam could see she was thinking hard. Why? She asked finally. Why do you want to know about us? Sam looked at her. Because that is what humans do. he said. We learn. We try to understand. Even our enemies. Even people who hurt us. We believe that understanding is better than fear. The Queen studied him. There was something in her eyes that Sam had not seen before. Curiosity, maybe. Or something deeper. You are a strange creature, she said. Your species is young. You have been in space for less than 200 years. Yet you speak as if you have wisdom. Sam almost smiled. We have been alive on our planet for a long time, he said. We have made many mistakes. We have hurt each other in terrible ways. But we have also learned. Every generation learns from the one before. That is how we grow. The Queen nodded slowly. Then her scale shifted to a warm amber color. I accept your conditions, human. You will be treated as a partner. You will learn about us, and we will learn about you. And when our work is done, you will go home. Sam felt some of the weight lift from his chest. It was not freedom, but it was something. Thank you, he said. The Queen turned to leave, then stopped. She looked back at him. My name is Sirvana, she said. You may use it. Sam bowed his head slightly. Thank you, Sirvana. Over the next few months, everything changed. Sam was moved to a larger room. He was given better food. He was allowed to walk around parts of the ship. And every day, he learned more about the HFY. They were an old species. They had been traveling the stars for thousands of years before humans even discovered fire. They had built great cities on dozens of worlds. They had created art and music and stories that filled entire libraries. But the plague had changed everything. It came from nowhere. No one knew where it started or how it spread. It moved through the HFY like a shadow, killing every male it touched. Within one generation, they were all gone. Fathers, brothers, sons. All of them dead. The females survived. They found a way to copy themselves, to make new HFY without males. But each copy was a little bit worse than the original. A little bit weaker. A little bit shorter-lived. Now, 3 generations later, they were running out of time. Sam understood their fear. He understood their desperation. It did not make what they had done to him right. But he could see that they were not evil. They were just afraid. Afraid of dying. Afraid of being forgotten. He began to teach them about Earth. The HFY had never paid much attention to humans before. They thought humans were too young, too primitive, too far away to matter. But now they listened. They wanted to understand the species that might save them. Sam told them about Earth's history, about the wars and the peace, about the art and the science, about all the times humans had faced death and found a way to keep going. They were amazed. How did you survive? One of them asked. You have been through so much. Your planet has tried to kill you so many times. How are you still here? Sam thought about it. We are stubborn, he said. When someone tells us we cannot do something, we do it anyway. When the world knocks us down, we get back up. We do not know how to quit. The HFY looked at each other. Their scale showed confusion. They did not understand. Giving up was logical when there was no hope. Fighting when you could not win was foolish. But that is exactly what makes us human, Sam said. We do not believe in no hope. We believe that there is always a way. We just have to find it. The HFY talked about this for days. It was a new idea for them. A strange idea. But some of them started to think that maybe the humans were onto something. One day, Sam received a visitor he did not expect. She was small, at least for a HFY. Only 7 feet tall. Her scales had not settled into their adult pattern yet. They shifted constantly, like water and sunlight. And her 4 eyes were bright and curious. She stood at his door and looked at him. He looked back. You are the human, she said. Her voice was higher than the adults. Younger. Yes, Sam said. "My name is Sam. I am Kiravine," she said. "I am the daughter of Queen Sirvana." Sam was surprised. He had not known the queen had a daughter. No one had mentioned her before. "It is nice to meet you, Kiravin." The young Vethkai stepped into his room. She looked around at everything. The books he had been given. The pictures of Earth on his walls. The small plant he had started growing in a pot by the window. "What is that?" she asked, pointing at the plant. "It is a flower," Sam said. "It grows on my planet. I brought some seeds with me when I left Earth. Why? Because it reminds me of home. When I look at it, I feel less alone." Kiravine sat down next to the pot. She stared at the small green leaves for a long time. Her scales were a soft pink color. Sam would learn that this meant wonder. "I have many questions," she said. "About your planet. About your people. Will you answer them?" Sam looked at this strange young creature. She was so different from him. So alien. But her eyes held the same look he saw in human children. The same hunger to learn. The same need to understand the world. "Of course," he said. "Ask me anything." That was the beginning. Kiravine came to see Sam every day after that. She asked him about everything. What was rain? How did birds fly? Why did humans cry when they were sad, and also when they were happy? Sam answered every question. He told her about the oceans and the mountains, about dogs and cats and horses, about families and friends and love. And slowly, without meaning to, he began to care about this strange little girl who had walked into his life. He began to see her not as an alien, but as a child. A lonely child who was trying to understand a universe that had taken so much from her people. He did not know it yet, but she would change everything. The days turned into weeks. The weeks turned into months. And the months turned into more than a year. Sam stopped counting the exact number of days. It did not matter anymore. What mattered was the work. What mattered was the progress. What mattered was Kiravin. The young princess visited him every single day without fail. She would arrive when the light turned blue and stay until it started to dim. She asked questions about everything. About Earth and humans and the strange ways they lived their lives. What is a birthday? She asked one day. Sam smiled. It is the day when you were born, he explained. Every year, when that day comes again, we celebrate. We have a party. We eat cake. We give presents. Kiravine's scales turned pink with wonder. You celebrate being alive? Yes, we are happy that we exist. We are happy that the people we love exist. So we celebrate. The Vethkai do not do this, Kiravine said. There is no celebration. When a new one is made, it is recorded. That is all. Sam felt sad when he heard this. A whole species that did not celebrate life. A whole species that had forgotten how to be happy about simply existing. Maybe we can change that, he said. Meanwhile, the scientists were making progress. Sam had given them what they needed. Small pieces of himself that they could study. The Vethkai doctors were very careful. They never hurt him. They never took more than they had to. Queen Sirvana had kept her promise. The head scientist was named Vortek. She was old, even by Vethkai standards. Her scales had faded to a pale silver, and she moved slowly. But her mind was sharp. Sharp as any human scientist Sam had ever met. She came to see him one day with news. We have done it, she said. Her scales were bright yellow with excitement. We have found the answer. Your genetic material can be combined with ours. It is possible. Sam felt a mix of emotions. Relief that his time here might be ending soon. Pride that he had helped save a species. But also sadness. Sadness that he would be leaving. That is wonderful news, he said. Vortek nodded. The Queen wishes to see you. She will explain what happens next. Sam followed her through the long crystal halls of the ship. He knew them well now. He knew which turns led to the garden, where Kiravine liked to play. He knew which halls led to the library, where he spent hours reading about HFY history. He knew this ship almost as well as he knew his own home. The throne room was as impressive as always. The high ceiling made of living crystal. The walls that pulsed with soft light. The hundreds of HFY who had gathered to watch. Queen Servan sat on her throne. She was wearing her formal jewelry, the pieces that showed her rank. Her scales were a deep royal purple. She looked powerful. She looked like a leader. Sam walked to the center of the room and stopped. He bowed his head in the HFY way of showing respect. Sam Harrison of Earth, the Queen said. Her voice filled the room. You have been with us for 1 year, 3 months, and 17 rotations. In that time, you have kept your word. You have helped us. You have taught us. You have given us something we thought we would never have again. She paused. Her scales shifted to a warmer color. Hope, she said. The crowd murmured. Sam could feel their eyes on him. All those violet eyes, watching and waiting. Our scientists have completed their work, the Queen continued. Because of what you gave us, we will be able to create new life. Natural life. For the first time in 3 generations, HFY children will be born, not made. Sam felt the weight of those words. He had done it. He had actually done it. A species that was dying would now live. Because of him, you have fulfilled your part of our agreement, the Queen said. You are free to go. A ship has been prepared. It will take you to the edge of human space. From there, you can find your way home. The word hit Sam like a wave. He thought about Earth, about the blue oceans and green forests, about the cities full of people and the small towns where everyone knew your name, about Katie, his sister, who was waiting for him, who had never stopped waiting. He wanted to go home. He wanted it more than anything. Thank you, he said. His voice was steady. Thank you, Queen Sirvana. Thank you for keeping your promise. The Queen nodded. It is we who thank you, Sam Harrison. You have saved us. We will never forget. The crowd began to move. The meeting was over. Sam turned toward the exit. 2 guards stood there, ready to take him to his ship. Ready to take him home. He took 1 step. Then another. Then another. And then he heard it, a voice. Small and scared. Calling his name. Sam thought he stopped. His heart seemed to stop too. He knew that voice. He had heard it every day for more than a year. He had answered its questions. He had told it stories. He had taught it about rain and birthdays and all the small wonderful things that humans did. He turned around slowly. Kiravine stood at the bottom of the steps that led to the throne. She was far away, maybe 30 feet. But Sam could see her clearly. Her scales were changing colors faster than he had ever seen. Blue to green to white to red. Over and over again, her 4 eyes were fixed on him. Only on him. And in those eyes, Sam saw something that made his heart break and heal at the same time. He saw hope, not the cold, desperate hope of a dying species. This was something different. This was the hope of a child. Pure and simple and true. The hope that someone she loved would not leave her. The room was silent. Everyone was watching. No one moved. Kiravine took 1 step forward. Her whole body was shaking. Her scales could not settle on any color. She was afraid. Afraid of what Sam would do. Afraid of what he would say. But she kept walking. 1 step at a time. Closer and closer. Sam could not move. He could not breathe. He just watched this little girl walk toward him. This alien child who had become so important to him. This strange, wonderful creature who had taught him that family did not have to share blood. That love did not have to make sense. She reached him. She stood in front of him. Her head came up to his chest. She was small. So small. She reached out her hand and touched his arm. Her scales had finally settled on one color, a soft, sad blue. She looked up at him. "Please," she said. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Please do not go." Sam felt tears in his eyes. Human tears. The kind that came when you were happy and sad at the same time. He looked at this child. He looked at the queen on her throne. He looked at all the HFY who were watching. He looked at the door that led to his ship, to Earth, to home. And then he looked back at Kiravan. He had a choice to make. The whole room was silent. Sam could hear his own heartbeat. He could hear Kiravan breathing. He could hear nothing else. The child stood before him, her small hand still touching his arm. Her eyes were full of tears that would not fall. HFY did not cry the way humans did, but they felt pain just the same. Sam looked down at her. He remembered all the days they had spent together, all the questions she had asked, all the stories he had told. He remembered teaching her about snow and sunshine and the sound of rain on a roof. He remembered watching her face light up when she finally understood something new. She was not his daughter. She was not even his species. But in every way that mattered, she had become his family. "Please," she said again. Her voice was so small. Sam felt something shift inside him. Something deep and old and powerful. It was the thing that made humans who they were. The thing that had carried them through ice ages and wars and plagues. The thing that refused to let them give up, even when giving up made sense. It was love. He knelt down slowly. His knees touched the crystal floor. Now he was at her level. Now he could look into her eyes without looking down. "Tell me," he said softly. "Tell me what you want." Kiravan's scales flickered. She tried to find the words. "You are leaving," she said. "Going back to your planet. To your people." "Yes," Sam said. "That is true, but I do not want you to go." She was shaking. Her whole body trembled with the effort of speaking. "You are my friend. You are the only one who talks to me like I am real. The others, they see the princess. They see my mother's daughter. But you see me. Just me." Sam felt his heart breaking. He understood. He understood more than she knew. In a society of copies, where every new HFY was supposed to be exactly like the one before, being different was dangerous. Being yourself was hard. Kiravan was the daughter of the queen. Everyone expected her to be perfect, to be exactly what they needed. But she was just a child. A scared, lonely child who wanted someone to see who she really was. "I have so many questions still," she continued. "About rain. About birthdays. About families. You said humans celebrate being alive. You said they are happy for each other. I want to learn that. I want to feel that. But how can I if you're gone?" Sam reached out and took her hand. Her scales were warm under his fingers. He thought about Earth, about the blue sky and the green grass, about Katie, who was still waiting, about the life he had left behind. Then he thought about this child, this brave little girl who had walked across a silent room to ask him to stay, who had risked everything, her pride, her position, the eyes of her whole people, just to tell him what was in her heart. Humans did not give up on the people they loved. That was the one rule that mattered more than all the others. "Kiravan," Sam said, "I need you to listen to me." She nodded. Her eyes were locked on his face. "I cannot stay here forever," he said gently. "I have a family on Earth, a sister who loves me. She is worried about me. She needs to know that I'm alive." Kiravan's scales turned gray with sadness. She started to pull her hand away, but Sam continued, holding her hand tighter. "That does not mean I am leaving you." "Not really." She looked at him with confusion. Her scales shifted to a pale yellow. Sam smiled. "Let me tell you something about humans," he said. "We are very stubborn. When we care about someone, We do not stop caring just because we are far away. Distance does not matter to us. We find ways to stay connected. We write letters. We send messages. We visit when we can. And no matter how long it takes, we always come back to the people we love. You would come back? Kiravine asked. To see me? Sam nodded. I promise. But there is something else I want to say. What? Sam looked over at Queen Sirvana. The queen was watching them from her throne. Her scales were a mix of colors that Sam could not read. But she had not stopped them. She had not said a word. Sam turned back to Kiravine. I was a prisoner here, he said. When I first came, I was scared and angry. I did not want to help your people. I wanted to go home. I know, Kiravine said softly. But you changed that, Sam continued. You came to my room every day. You asked me questions. You listened to my answers. You made me feel like I was not alone. And slowly, I stopped seeing the Vethkai as my enemies. I started seeing you as people. As friends. Kiravine's scales turned a soft pink. Your people need more than my genetic material, Sam said. They need to learn what I taught you. They need to learn about hope and joy and celebration. They need to learn that life is worth living, not just surviving. How? Kiravine asked. Sam stood up. He did not let go of her hand. Together, they turned to face the queen. Sirvana, Sam said. His voice was strong. It filled the room. I have a new proposal for you. The queen raised her head. Her 4 eyes focused on him. Speak. Human. Sam took a deep breath. Let me go home, he said. Let me see my sister and my planet. Let me tell my people what happened here. This was already agreed, the queen said. I am not finished, Sam said. Let me do those things. And then let me come back. The room erupted in whispers. Scales flashed in every color. No one had expected this. Not even Kiravine, who looked up at Sam with wide eyes. Come back? The queen repeated. Why would you want to return? Because my work here is not done, Sam said. I gave you the science you needed. But science is not enough. Your people are dying inside, not just in their bodies, but in their hearts. They have forgotten how to hope. They had forgotten how to be happy. The whispers grew louder. Sam continued. I want to help you remember. I want to teach you about birthdays and celebrations. About music and stories. About all the things that make life worth living. I want to be a bridge between our peoples. Not just for science. For everything? The queen was silent for a long time. Her scales moved through color after color. The whole room waited. Finally, she spoke. You would do this willingly? You would leave your home and come back to us? For what? Sam looked down at Kiravine. Then he looked back at the queen. For her, he said. For your people? For the chance to build something new. Something that has never existed before. The queen studied him. Then she looked at her daughter. At the little girl who had run across a crowded room to beg a human to stay. Very well, the queen said at last. Go home, Sam Harrison. See your family. Tell your people about us. And then, if you still wish to return, you will be welcome here. Not as a prisoner. Not as a guest. As a friend. Sam felt relief wash over him. He looked down at Kiravine. I will be back, he said. I promise. Kiravine's scales finally settled on a color. Bright, beautiful gold. I believe you, she said. Sam smiled. He reached out and placed his hand on top of her head. It was a human gesture of love, of family, of promise. Wait for me, he said. I will, she replied. Then Sam Harrison turned and walked toward the door. Toward his ship. Toward Earth. Toward home. But this time, he knew he would return. Because some connections were stronger than distance. Some bonds could never be broken. And some promises were worth keeping, no matter how far you had to travel. 3 years passed. On Earth, people talked about Sam Harrison. They called him a hero. They called him an explorer. They called him the man who made first contact with an alien species and lived to tell about it. But Sam did not think of himself as any of those things. He was just a man who had made a promise. And now he was going to keep it. The day he left Earth again, his sister Katie came to see him off. She stood at the entrance of the ship, her eyes red from crying. But she was smiling too. "I am proud of you," she said. "You know that, right?" Sam hugged her tight. "I know," he said. "And I will come back. I always do." Katie laughed through her tears. "You better. I am not done worrying about you yet." Sam smiled. He let her go and looked at the ship behind her. It was called the Horizon, a brand new vessel built for the long journey to HFY space. The first official diplomatic ship ever sent to an alien world. And Katie was going to be on it too. Not forever. Just for the first trip. She had trained for 2 years to become a diplomat. She had learned the HFY language and customs. She had read every report Sam had written. And when the Earth government asked for someone to lead the first human team to the HFY homeworld, she had volunteered. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Sam asked her. Katie rolled her eyes. "Someone has to keep you out of trouble." They walked onto the ship together. The crew was already at their stations. Everything was ready. Everything was perfect. The journey took 3 weeks. Sam spent most of that time looking out the windows. He watched the stars pass by. He thought about Kiravine. He wondered how much she had grown. He wondered if she still asked questions. He wondered if she had learned to celebrate her birthday yet. When the ship finally reached the HFY homeworld, Sam felt his heart speed up. The planet was beautiful. Blue and green and covered in swirling clouds. It looked a little like Earth, but different too. The oceans were darker. The land was covered in crystal formations that caught the light of their sun. They landed in the capital city. Sam had never been here before. He had only seen the mothership. But this place was amazing. The buildings were not built. They were grown. Tall towers of crystal that reached toward the sky. Streets that glowed with soft light. Gardens full of strange plants that moved without wind. And everywhere there were HFY. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. They lined the streets to watch the human ship arrive. Their scales flashed in every color of the rainbow. They were curious. They were excited. They were alive. Sam walked down the ramp with Katie beside him. The crowd parted to let them through. At the end of the path, a platform had been set up. And on that platform stood Queen Sirvana. She looked the same as Sam remembered. Tall and powerful and ancient. But there was something different about her now. Her scales were brighter. Her eyes were softer. She looked like someone who had found a reason to hope. Next to her stood a young HFY female. Sam stopped walking. She was not little anymore. She had grown. She was over 8 feet tall now. Her scales had finally settled into a permanent pattern. Deep green and bright gold. They were beautiful, but her eyes were the same. 4 violet eyes that had asked him 1,000 questions. That had begged him not to leave. That had believed his promise. Kira single quotes VN. Sam felt tears in his eyes. Human tears. He did not try to hide them. The young princess stepped off the platform. She walked toward him. Slowly at first. Then faster. Then running. She reached him and stopped. They stood face to face. She was taller than him now. He had to look up to meet her eyes. "You came back," she said. Her voice was deeper than before, but it still held the same wonder. "I promised," Sam said. "I always keep my promises." Kiravine reached out and took his hand. Her scales were warm. Her grip was strong. "I have so many new questions," she said. "So many things I have learned. So many things I want to tell you. Sam laughed. It was a real laugh, full of joy. I want to hear all of them, he said. They walked together toward the platform. Katie followed behind them, watching with wide eyes. This was what her brother had told her about. This was the bond that had changed everything. Queen Sirvana stepped forward. Welcome back, Sam Harrison, she said. You have kept your word. Again. Sam bowed his head. Thank you, Sirvana. Thank you for letting me return. The queen looked at Katie. And this is your sister? Yes, Sam said. This is Katie. She is here as a diplomat, to help build a relationship between our peoples. The queen studied Katie for a long moment. Then her scales turned warm amber. She is welcome here, she said. Any family of Sam Harrison is family of the Vethkai. The treaty was signed that afternoon. It was a simple document. A promise between two peoples. Trade, communication, cultural exchange, science and art, and all the things that made a civilization strong. But the real work started after the signing. Over the next few years, more humans came to live among the Vethkai. Teachers and artists and engineers. They brought with them all the things that made humanity special. Music and laughter. Stories and celebrations. The stubborn refusal to give up, even when giving up made sense. The Vethkai drank it all in like water in a desert. The first generation of naturally born Vethkai grew up hearing human stories. They learned about birthdays and holidays. They learned about families and friends. They learned that life was not just something to survive. It was something to celebrate. Kiravine grew into a leader. When Queen Sirvana finally stepped down, her daughter took her place. And she ruled the Vethkai not with fear or duty, but with hope. She remembered everything Sam had taught her. Every lesson, every story, every small moment they had shared. And she passed those lessons on to her people. Sam stayed with the Vethkai for the rest of his life. He visited Earth sometimes. He saw Katie get married. He met her children. He watched them grow up knowing that they had family among the stars. But his home was with the Vethkai now. With Kiravine. With the people who had captured him and kept him and finally set him free. On the day Sam died, he was very old. His hair was white. His hands were weak. But his eyes were still bright. Kiravine was there. She held his hand the way he had held hers so many years ago. She was a queen now. Old and wise and respected. But with him, she was still that little girl who had asked about rain. Thank you, she said. Her voice was soft. Thank you for staying. Thank you for teaching us. Thank you for being my friend. Sam smiled. His last smile. Thank you, he whispered, for giving me hope. He closed his eyes. And Sam Harrison, the man who had saved the species not with science but with love, was gone. But his story lived on. Centuries later, humans and Vethkai lived side by side. They built cities together. They explored the galaxy together. They faced every challenge together. And in every Vethkai school, in every Vethkai home, they taught the story of Sam Harrison. The human who had been captured. The human who had chosen to help. The human who had walked away and then walked back. Because a little girl had looked at him with hope in her eyes. They taught their children that this was what made humans special. Not their strength or their technology, but their hearts. Their stubborn, impossible, unbreakable hearts. And they taught them the most important lesson of all, that hope was never foolish. That love was never weak. That connection, real connection between two souls, was the most powerful force in the universe. Because in the end, it was not Sam's body that had saved the Vethkai. It was his heart. And that heart, like all human hearts, had refused to give up, even when the whole galaxy said it was impossible, even when walking away would have been easier, even when a child's. Hope was the only thing left to hold on to. That was what made humans human. And that was why, among all the species in all the stars, humanity would never be forgotten. The end.